Alright, today I'm going to show you a little bit how I do my my bases. These are pretty much just cork bases, but they're made to look like big rock outcrops. I play corn armies, so with that comes berserkers, and with the berserkers comes like all these like running and leaping and poses. So obviously having them leaping and bounding off of rocks and whatnot, to land a nice chain axe to the face is kind of a cool idea. So one of the things that you want is like a nice decent rock for these guys to jump off of. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. I'm kind of a glutton for punishment. I like to pin all of my models to their bases, and can't really see it with these guys. Maybe you can, but that's actually a magnet right there, this guy. But maybe find a better one. The pins. There's a pin right there. Another pin right there. The pins actually help with some of the posing because with cork is kind of a really spongy material. So when you put the model on the base, it's basically going to sit there however the cork is positioned. So if the cork is positioned forward, then your model is going to be positioned forward. So when you're pinning, it gives you that fulcrum to bend your model's pose against. So if I wanted this guy to be bending a little bit more forward, I would just push him a little bit more forward. So that's how the pinning kind of helps with this, and I'm going to show you how I do all that stuff too. It's pretty easy. And as I was showing with my Karn model here, the thickness of the cork is actually what I like. I like the really big, epic looking outcrops that your heroes can kind of be on. So the cork I use, if you're in the States, comes from a craft shop called Michael's. It's pretty much a national chain of craft stores. This is a segment of it, obviously. It's dark brown. It's got really large chunks of cork in it, which help with creating those realistic looking rock structures. I looked at some of the other ones, some of the other types of cork out there with the smaller pieces of cork in it. Those really didn't look that great when you're making these nice epic looking bases. So this is the cork I use. Some tools that you're going to need. Obviously, as I said before, I pin all my models, so a pin vise is definitely useful. A very small pin bit for the pin vise. My pins basically amount to a bunch of paper clips. These paper clips are actually really nice because they actually match perfectly the drill bit that I'm using. Pair of wire cutters, cut your pins with. Your model. In this case, I'm just taking a possessed Chaos Marine bottom that I put together. Just gonna put it on a base for this purpose, and that's pretty much it. The whole thing takes, I don't know, maybe like 5-10 minutes to base, and then you get some really kind of cool poses out of it, which I kind of like. So that's why I do it with pretty much every single one of my berserkers here are either leaping off of something, or they're all nicely posed on something. Like this guy, he's kind of like leading the charge. Just one of my going to be one of my champions. So that's it. That's how we're going to do it. Alright, so one of the great things about cork is that you can pretty much just tear pieces off of it until you get something you like. So in some cases, like with Karn here, I'm using a really huge chunk of cork. Karn's a really huge chunk of character, so I think he deserved a equally sized piece of cork. So So what I do is, you take this thick piece of cork here, and you can tear pieces off of it until you get something that looks kind of cool, like a little bit of like a rocky outcrop of sorts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this the flat edge here, glue it to this base. I'm going to pin vise my my marine legs. I'm going to just put some pinholes in there and get some pins in there, and then just kind of see how I like his pose to be. Do I want him kind of stepping up on the rock? Do I want him kind of looking like he's jumping, or like what do you want to do? And that's kind of how the process goes. Is kind of see what looks good, and then if you need to, some of the pieces that you've taken off of the cork, you can actually just glue right back on. So if I want this piece right here, I'll just glue it right back on, and it'll just stay there. The cork is extremely porous. Actually, that piece actually does look kind of cool right there. The cork is extremely porous, so what that means is that all the glue, like if you're using just some Citadel super glue or whatever, the glue will just permeate right through the cork, and it will create an amazing bond inside the cork. And I mean, you'll be able to rip off other pieces except for the glue joint that you put on there. So cork is really good to work with. So the next segment of this video, you'll probably see me just pinning this guy, and we'll make some guide holes on this, and we'll go from there.